Smells like something good's cooking, Chief.
I've got nothing up your alley today. Hard enough just to get a meal round here.
I understand, but I'm also confident you'll pull through. You know I pay well for even the tiniest morsel.
That, I never doubted.
This homeless camp is actually part of Sunhee's information network. They call that man their chief, and his friends all over town are always coming to him with new stories. Security cams can't catch everything. That's why you can't underestimate word of mouth.
Sorry for keeping you. We owe the chief a lot, so I just wanted to check in on him.
No worries. Come on, let's go, Kiryu-san.
Hey, hold on there, Psycho.
Hmm? Is something the matter, Chief?
The man's called Suzuki-san, no? You ought to be more careful.
Right. Of course.
It's tiring, leading a life without being seen. This place is full of folks walking that same path. Your hardships remind me of my own. Taichi, Suzuki-san.
Seems we both have it rough, don't we?
Well, I'm sure it's rougher on you. I hear you were once quite infamous. Unlike myself, nobody ever cared whether I lived or died.
I'm sure that's not true.
Believe me, it is. And if you need convincing, I've got plenty of past left untold.
Sorry, Chief, but Suzuki-san might be a little busy right now.
That's so. Then I won't hold you here any longer.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I just didn't know how long he might have kept us.
That was rather odd, though. Wonder what's gotten into him.
What do you mean?
The people here never talk about themselves, especially their past. Even I don't know the chief's background. Considering he's the one who started the conversation, maybe he feels a connection with you, Kiryu-san.
We both live in the shadows, after all. Seems like the chief went through a lot before he ended up here. I'm thinking he was ready to tell me some of it. One of the men in the photo must have been him in his younger days. I wonder, should I ask him about it? Chief, about that photo you showed us. Who was that person with you?
Oh, him. That was my old boss. We used to work at the local factory. Must have been about 10, 20 years ago. Might as well be ancient history now.
Back when the sun shined a little brighter for you, you mean?
Something like that. We've been trudging along a dark and thorny path, you and I. If only we had done a single thing different. Maybe we'd be walking with our heads held a little higher. Yet, here we are now, somehow in each other's company. An odd, once-in-a-lifetime encounter. Anyway, one on the right's me, on the left was my boss. We called him Captain down at the factory. When I started working after high school, he was the one showing me the ropes.
If you've been working straight out of high school, you must have worked a long time.
I may not look the part now, but I was once a master mechanic. Couldn't be beat. But when automation took over the industry, it became apparent that my work was unnecessary. Eventually, they stopped hiring younger folk. We knew for years the number of applicants was tapering off. Not that there was anything I could do about it. The skills I spent a lifetime honing could be executed a dozen times faster by robots. Naturally, the company moved forward with plans to restructure, and Cap himself had the honor of giving me the boot.
That must have been hard. For you and the captain.
Cap, well, he and I were like family. But if he didn't fire me, then he'd be the one out on the streets. That left him with only one option, to hand me my dismissal. At that time, I was almost 50. I thought my whole life was over. But then, he said that he'd quit with me, that he'd look after me.
He did that for you?
Wasn't like he had any job security either. Our jobs were destined to disappear. I was merely the first in line. So, we walked out the door one final time, side by side. And sure enough, the place was shuttered soon after. After so many years of service, the severance pay was peanuts. At least we didn't have any families to feed.
And that's how you ended up homeless?
Yeah, that's when I started to camp here. Had I been alone, I would have died a dog's death real fast. Cap was a lot smarter than me. The man took to his new lifestyle quickly. Occasionally, there'd be folks harassing us, but he'd take the lead and fight back. Everyone around him started to trust him, and eventually, he inherited the title of chief.
So you can only become chief through succession.
That's right. It's a practice that's lasted generations. There have even been times when folks from the underground would make us do them favors in exchange for protection. And Cap, stout-hearted man that he was, didn't flinch. As chief, he'd do anything to protect us. He continued to shoulder the burden all by himself, till his body gave out. He didn't bother seeing a doctor, but I bet he knew he had late-stage cancer.
Since you're the chief now, that means he...
I called out for him one morning about 7, 8 years ago, but he was dead in his tent. I think it was the most peaceful I've ever seen him, and maybe it was. Because he could finally set aside the heavy burden that had been weighing him down. Me.
And that's why you took on his role? To start paying it forward?
Exactly. The entire time he was with me, I never took responsibility for anything. And now, at my ripe old age, I finally get a taste of the constant pressure he was under.
Chief.
Nobody's filled me in on why you were forced into hiding, going as far as erasing your name. But I've heard you're not taking care of your illness, even though you're still giving Kasuga aid. A lot like what Cap did with me.
Something like that, yeah.
If you find that living is no longer worthwhile, the final call is yours. There's no law saying you gotta see a doctor if you're sick. However, if by any chance you change your mind, you can always come back here. You're welcome to stay at the camp for as long as I'm chief. I never got the chance to repay Cap's kindness, but I figure helping people like you is a step in the right direction.
Well, I appreciate the thought, but I can't accept your offer right now. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm aware. You still got business to take care of, don't you? At any rate, I'm glad I got to speak with you, Suzuki-san. And sorry for making you listen to such an old story.
No need to apologize. I learned a lot from your story. Thanks for sharing, Chief.